Regardless of whether we're going by the date I originally uploaded the previous episode of this series, or the date it was re-uploaded, it's been a while. In fact, it's been so long I got this screen when I went to open the world. Which makes sense, I haven't played in this world since before 1.17 released. I've been busy with other videos, and I was worried that resuming this series wouldn't really fit with the rest of the content I've made since then. But I've never forgotten about this series. In my relatively short life, I've left behind countless unfinished creative projects, unfinished drawings, unfinished stories, unfinished comics, at least 2 unfinished latch hook projects. At some point in probably elementary school, I learned about Leonardo da Vinci. What stuck out to me the most was the sheer volume of works that da Vinci just did not finish. And the idea that I might similarly end up finishing very few of the projects I've started has haunted me ever since. My original goal for this series was twofold: to challenge myself and to get a complete set of netherite gear in one life. With 1.20 making upgrading to netherite much more complicated, I figured it was now or never to return and finish this series. So I spent the beginning of day 97 looking around, refamiliarizing myself with the world. It seemed small and definitely not the kind of thing you usually see on YouTube when someone has spent almost 100 days in a world, but it was home. After rifling through the many barrels trying to remind myself of what I was doing and what I had, I decided to tend the root vegetable farm, craft some more suspicious stew, and farm more stew ingredients, starting with oxeye daisies. But then I remembered that I had a bunch of ore blocks from before 1.17. I still didn't have a fortune pickaxe, but I figured I should get them out of the smelter array. The kitchen barrel where I was keeping the netherite and netherite scrap seemed like a spot that future me should remember. Later that night, it started raining, so I started fishing at the poppy pond. Again, I know it's small, but it's cute, and when you're spending a sizable chunk of time standing in place waiting, it's nice to have something cute to look at. Good call past me. As per usual, some of the items would randomly fly off to the side, still have no clue why, but I also got another piece of leather. So when the rain stopped on day 98, I was able to add another section of the map wall. Just one more piece of leather and the map wall would be complete. With the time I'd spent fishing, I figured I should check on the root vegetable farm again. They weren't quite ready for harvest, but I did still have bone meal in my inventory, so I gathered more mushrooms for stew. It was a pretty laid-back time. I mostly just wanted to take it easy this week and get back into the swing of things. I'd been thinking about how best to acquire the diamonds for a set of armor, as well as getting netherite. And I figured the first step would be to get a fortune pickaxe to make the most of any diamond ores I found. Besides, I had those 2 stacks of iron ore blocks from before 1.17. A fortune 3 pickaxe would enable me to make the most of those ores, especially with iron not being renewable in this world. And while I thus thought about returning to fishing on day 99 in the hopes that I would eventually get a fortune book, or at least a fishing rod with something more exciting than Unbreaking 2, I figured it would be pretty boring and slow both for me to play and for you to watch, since my fishing rod doesn't even have lure. And hey, my health was completely recovered, so why not run to the nether real quick and see if there were any beds left over from last time? And when I saw there were only 3, why not use them real quick? I could use the explosions to make a small, snappy montage before resuming fishing. That would be great for about the middle of the video, right? And then, by the time we were done, we could go back to the overworld for day 100, make some firework rockets with the gunpowder in the basement, take another bite of the cake in the kitchen, and maybe even see if we could get RTX to work and take a walk around to look at everything with ray tracing. But while getting ready to use the 3rd and final bed, I got a little too eager when I saw a piece of ancient debris. I figured there could be more lurking in the walls. But you've seen the thumbnail and title, so you know how this ends. Honestly, I'm kinda surprised it happened this way. Because when I had to update the world since I hadn't played after 1.18 released, I half expected that I would meet my demise in the deep dark. Who knows, maybe that's part of why I got so careless in the nether. I was so preoccupied with the deep dark and wondering if I should use the command to stop that hostile mob from spawning, since it's not controlled by the toggle for mob spawning, that I forgot lava could be hiding in the wall. It's kinda weird watching it back because I can see the moment where I thought, oh hey, I'll just get the lava with a bucket and it'll be fine. But it wasn't fine, because I forgot how quickly you take damage in hard mode, especially when you don't have Prot 4 armor on. Maybe I would have been fine had I just ran for it, but then again, running through lava is slow, and catching on fire at all in the nether is pretty risky, so maybe it would have been futile regardless. Since updating the world created a backup, I had the thought of just restarting like I had when we lost Daisy. But in the words of past me, that would kind of defeat the purpose of what I'm trying to do here, which is to challenge myself. My original goal for this series was twofold: to challenge myself and to get a complete set of netherite gear in one life. The stew ingredients stockpiled in the kitchen will go unused. The root vegetable farm will never be extended. Both the map wall and the trophy tower will never be completed. And I will never collect the full set of netherite gear that I was planning to get. Is this the end I was hoping for? No, I wanted to complete the objective set out in the first episode and maybe build some more stuff on the way. But maybe this is the end this series needed. It's not unusual for gaming YouTube channels to have unfinished series. Maybe their save file corrupted. Maybe they lost interest in the game. Maybe they just got too busy. Those are all perfectly understandable reasons to not finish a series. But I have been fighting this battle to actually finish the creative projects I start for almost as long as I can remember. Also, I'm not sure if you can tell, but in case it's not clear, I am a very sentimental person. While I cringe at the audio quality now, and I did need to re-upload some of the episodes, the first video for this series was the very first video on my channel when it was originally uploaded on February 28th, 2021. While I did pause this series to do the Journey to the End, it was only because of playing in this world that I took note of Oxeye Daisies, and thus by extension, Daisy. There is no Journey to the End without hardcore but no mob spawn, so I figured rather than just allow the world to sit forgotten on my hard drive, I should make an earnest effort to complete the goals I set out in that very first video, to give the series a proper send-off, to say goodbye. And no, I didn't get to make a complete set of netherite gear in one life before burning in lava, but I did make it to the end in Journey to the End. And albeit with a reset to a prior save, I made it back to spawn to craft the large map wall documenting the trip. So out of those two series on this channel, one of them was completed successfully. 50% is better than 0%. And while one of two projects were completed successfully, with this video, I can say that 2 of 2 projects were completed. But hardcore but no mob spawn was not the first world I created for this channel, and it's a really weird coincidence that this ended on day 99. Like, to the point I would not blame you if you assumed that this was planned. Which it wasn't, but still. Because my very first video idea was to try 100 days in peaceful mode. Kinda hard to believe 100 days in Minecraft videos have been going around for that long. Of course, once I realized partway through how incredibly time-consuming it was to record that much gameplay, I paused playing on that world and opted to try something much smaller. Make a video spanning 8 Minecraft days. That attempt became hardcore but no mob spawn, because hardcore challenges were also going around then too. While it has been over 2 years since I began the attempt at 100 Days in Peaceful, I still have the Minecraft world, the video files from the days I played, and my notes. Before day 99 happened, I was feeling a bit stressed trying to figure out how I could finish up hardcore but no mob spawn and 100 Days in Peaceful before 1.20 released. Is this the end I had hoped for? No, but this series ending should help make room for something else, and I think that's just as good. Until next time, take care.